In this video, I'm going to talk about one of the dashboard within the Center of Excellence Starter Kit called as Governance Dashboard. Now, what is a governance dashboard? The governance dashboard is a dashboard which is hosted in, like, say, once you host that in Power BI service, you'll be able to view a rich visual report. Now, this report will show you some information with regards to compliance and governance, adoption, and some basic information about your default environment. Now, in the first report, compliance and governance, it will talk about apps. Now if in your organization there are apps with no owners, it will show that. If there are apps which is not part of any solution, if an app which is non-compliant, app which is shared with everyone, app not launched in the last month, grandfathered apps, app shared with greater than 100 users. So that's a point of concern. So you need to know those information. Apps not launched in the last quarter. So if it is not launched, quite possible it may not be used frequently. And do we really need that app? Apps with duplicate names, app with demo, test, etc. in the name. If these app exist, then it's the right candidate for deletion. Apps with open compliance requests. So if admin has sorted for compliance and then those compliance is not yet met, then please highlight me those information. Quarantined apps. Now, the the tile which shows blank, that means it doesn't exist within my organization. However, if you see apps with duplicate names, there are 29. So it's a cause of concern. Either I'm not following the naming convention, or maybe it's just a test app and it's a right candidate for deletion. Same goes with flows. Okay, flows with no owners. If the owner has left, then the flow has become orphaned. Let's reclaim that flow and find out what that flow does. If it is of use, let's keep it. If not, then let's archive that flow. How many flows are suspended? Sometimes flows are suspended because either the connections are not proper, connections expire, or maybe that flow might have been suspended by an admin for some activity. Now, flows with demo test in the name, again, flows with open compliance request, flows using HTTP connection. Okay, now this is also a most delicate one. Like, you should be very careful when using the HTTP connection, because HTTP connection can do anything. It can you can hook into any web application and then send out the data or receive the data. So it's a very uh, good, like, say, example for you to check within your organization if anyone is using this connection, and then what is the purpose for it, and monitor those actions. Similarly, if there are cross tenant connection, if there is a trust between two tenant, then let's monitor that, because quite possible data may flow from in and out. You need to check the bidirectional connections or in or out connections. Environment with no apps or flow. If there is an environment which does not have an app or flow, then do we really need that environment, and what is the purpose of it? Who created it? So these questions will come into your mind by looking into this report. There are some open environment requests within my organization. So if it is taking a while, then either admin is not doing that work, or maybe this is just a dummy or a like a sample request. So let's get rid of that. How many non-managed environments exist, and how many kind of custom connectors with HTTP endpoints exist within my organization. Now, this is a rich set of information which will help you set up compliance and governance framework within your organization and help you, like, say, reduce the problems or future security related problems. Adoption insights. This will show you how many apps were launched this month, how many unique users exist in the past month, how many apps launched in the past 90 days, how many makers exist within your organization, what are the top 5 connectors used in the apps. So Dataverse connector is the most one which is used in my apps. How many top 5 connectors used in the flow. So with this, I will be able to assess the demand within my organization, what people are using, and sometimes people may use the thing which they know. And quite possible by looking into this data, I might say that instead of using this connector, let's use some other connector. If you're using a premium connector to do some simple job which can be achieved using the free connector, let's focus on that free connector. So those sort of decisions can be made in this particular report. Top 5 capacity, you can see the database file and log size for an environment, and then make a decision on whether to keep an environment or how to extend the storage space for that particular environment. Again, you can see top 5 launched app, top 5 makers with the most used app, and top 5 countries where if your users are based out of different countries, then you will be able to see this rich statistical information. Default environment, the third one. Here also you will be able to see some information like how many apps were launched, top 5 launched apps, latest non-compliant apps, top 5 shared apps, latest suspended flows. Now, as I don't comply with some of the request, and then like this, these all things are like say blank for me, you know. So currently, I don't use flows with no owners. I don't have flows using plain text password. So that's why this information are blank for me. But then in your tenant, you may find some useful information, and then you can take an action. So the goal of this dashboard is basically to have a look into it, assess the information, and then take an action based on the stats shown in this particular report. So this report will basically help you put a good and a strong governance policy within your organization. So that's it, folks. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next video.